Good afternoon, friends. It's great to have you back here on this Earth Day. I'd like to begin by reminding at least myself of one of my favorite scriptures, and that is the reminder that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So with that, we're going to take a special mini hike to our composting area today and just talk a little bit about what we do there. So now let me flip that around. So right off of the entrance, across from the entrance to our family campground area is a little path out into a nice old field. Back in 2002, this area was completely trees. And we had a nice big ice storm that took out about 32 acres of trees, and we let some of that land stay flat-ish, and then later we added our composting area. Composting is one of those things that has been added to our ministry in the last 10 years. It's a great way to make better use of some of our food scraps. So we invite campers and guests year-round to put their vegetable peels, their fruit peels, their tea bags, their coffee grounds in our composting buckets, and then we gather all those up and we bring them out here to this lovely field. And it is a bit chilly, but it is so nice to have that sun out again today. So then, when the weather gets a wee bit warmer, we will come back out here and we will open up our compost areas. One pile here was last year's compost, and so that will become bulk for this coming summer's compost windrow. And we use what's called a passive windrow system. And that means that we don't have to follow the nitrogen to carbon mixture that a heat pile would, meaning that it's far easier for campers to come out and help with our composting area. So what we do, we usually add, say, for instance, right here, if this were opened up and ready for us, we would dump a bucket of vegetable peels and fruit peels and what have you, and then we would come over here to this pile where we gather up a bunch of wood chips and some of that nice, rich, organic material that comes from previous composting. We bring it back over here, and we cover what we just put on the pile with that bulking agent. And then we let God's creation kind of do its magic. Although it's not magic, I think it was created by design. And between the oxygen and all these really fun little compost creatures, they come in and they help break everything down, and then it comes back into really, really, really great soil. So I'm going to get my hands literally dirty and maybe a little cold. I'm going to come down here and just, I don't know if you can see that rich soil that comes from all that decomposing organic material. But this, we then put on our flower beds and in our garden when we have that up and running, and it really enriches the soil around it. Now, look, just a little thing that I learned a few years ago, and probably should have learned many years ago, there's a difference between soil and dirt. Dirt is just, it doesn't have any nutrients whatsoever. But soil contains a whole bunch of really great nutrients that are used to help sustain other living creatures. So if we were to add this to a flower bed, those flowers would really, really bloom. And then they help feed our deer population. Because what we've noticed is the deer love our flowers. So we're just doing our part to feed all the deer around here. That's what we do. And one other thing that we do add to our piles, you can see a little bit of, we do use compostable utensils for cookouts and ice cream socials and what have you. That way they can be added to our compost pile. They're really intended for a commercial pile. However, in this case, it just takes them a few years to break down. So I'll add this to this pile. So when we get it back open in a few weeks, hopefully, it'll continue to decompose and back into nutrients for everything we use our compost areas for. Just want to thank you for joining us on this Earth Day for the special mini hike to our compost area. Not terribly exciting in some ways, but I do enjoy coming out here on a nice warm day and turning the pile over and just seeing God's creation at work. If it were warmer, we could probably dig into this pile and see a whole bunch of really cool critters that reside there. But we will have to save that for a warmer day, and we hope that we will be able to bring it to you then. So before I sign off, just want to again thank you for tuning in today. Be sure to tune in again Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern for one of our other fun and exciting mini hikes here at Sky Lake. And if you are a subscriber to our email list, you will want to make sure that you check your email later today, because you will be getting the first details about our next bake sale, which will happen on May 2nd. And then if you aren't a subscriber to our email list, you will get that information tomorrow morning. Anyway, thanks again. May you spend some time outdoors if you can do so safely today. And just remember that as we celebrate the earth, we celebrate God's magnificent creation. And I'll leave you with some blue sky and sunshine. Bye, friends.